Housing. Housing. Player housing.
Houses and castles and
Housing. I want to see housing.
I know some people.
Housing.
For example,
Housing.
Helimod.
Craft your housing. Housing.
He likes.
Player housing. It's housing.
houses and castles. Obviously, we don't have the housing system yet, and they can't really.
Player housing. Would love to own a house. Where you can decorate and chill. Housing. Housing. Housing.
Next suggestion was houses. Now, of course, this was something everybody's been asking for.
Housing. Housing. Player housing. As promised this year.
He was making an awful lot of money as a real estate like contractor, house builder guy. But his passion's definitely acting. He's got it in his blood. He's a natural performer. I'm a hoarder, right? One of the reasons that the company has survived through so many tough times and stuff is we stock up our nuts like squirrels, and then you can afford to make a mistake when you can give yourself the runway to go fix it. So this is back 2009. We're kind of at the peak of our game, and I'm not an idiot. I've seen a lot of people go and do really well and buy Lamborghinis and do all this stuff and then like lose it all like a year later, and I wasn't going to be that guy. So I'm being really conservative. I'm like, no, you gotta go buy this thing. We found a house that's perfect for you. My father, who passed away last year, he said, son, somebody built you a house. You need to go and get it. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he says, come with us. We're going to go out and we're going to show you this place. I pull up. The place is a freaking castle. Somebody built, it looks like a castle. And I walk down the driveway and Brian's there. I said, Brian, what are you doing here? He's like, I built this place. What are you doing here? I'm like, I'm thinking about buying it. So I go and I ask him, I said, so how much is this place is selling for? And he says like, $3 million. And I laughed really hard. I'm like, okay, see you later. And I left. So we come back like a year and a half later, and place hadn't sold yet.
Of course.
He's like, it's $2 million. I laugh and I leave. Come back, and the price keeps going down every time I come back. We're around 2008 when this is happening.
It pretty much wants you to buy it.
And I really fell in love with this place. I'm like, and I thought about it, and we looked at the finances and stuff, and I went back and I said, hey, Brian, I'll offer $1 million for this house. And he said, Adam, we can't do that. Like, I have more into the house now. I'm like, okay, I didn't know, but that was my honest offer. Thank you. And then, hey, Adam, do you remember that offer you made on the house? And, I'm getting the butterflies in my stomach. I said, I think we can go lower than that. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we got in some trouble in the, because he didn't put the money up to build it. His investor did. He built the house. The investor put up the money. He goes, and I said, okay, let me make some calls and let's get together. And I ended up buying the house that the value of what was already created, which I think was like $140,000. Like, it was way less than, like, remember, this thing started at $3 million, right?
How much was it?
Like 840, I think.
Oh, I thought.
Or maybe it was less than that. I don't know. It's online somewhere. So end up making the deal, and I said, hey, look, your business partner is going to hate me for the rest of his life because, like, he took a big haircut on this, but how about I hire you to finish all the work on the house, and then you come help me with some of the game stuff while we're at it, because I heard you're, like, really into movies and stuff. He's like, yeah. So he's working on the house, and me and Galanoff would come over here to the house with a video camera. We'd film
Galanoff's the best character.
Do you remember that ninja video that we did?
Whatever happened to Galanoff?
Well, he's still a good friend. He works for some other video game company. I don't know. Everyone works for a video game company. Ryan had like he knew everybody in the film industry in Tampa, and then we'd invite them over to the house and they'd kind of like premiere all their stuff upstairs because I got like a little theater room upstairs. And so we're entertaining and I'm meeting all these people that, you know, we're kind of like networking and people giving me all these movies and I was smart enough not to invest in any of them. Don't tell them I said this. Because, you know, I do things outside of just the game stuff, right? I'd have to. Like 99% of my focus is on our stuff, but, you know, I'm not, I think it's foolish to just put all of your eggs in one basket, right? So
Absolutely.
I told you I'd be really transparent with you on this. So, you know, we've done everything, you know, it's, you know, and one thing about having success, right, is you can help other people go to achieve their dreams. And it's an important part of this whole kind of cycle.
What if
So
my
anyway,
dream is to be an Adventure Quest artist?
so we're making all these little cheesy movies and stuff, and we get this idea, and I said, hey, I want to make this villain character because I really like the WWE, like how they tell stories and they kind of make it live. And I'm like, why don't we build? I had this idea for this character, and I want you to play this like super rich, you know, mega evil guy, and kind of riff on video game companies that I considered very villainous at the time, because we had always done everything very grassroots, right?
Yeah.
And we had always owned everything. We never had an investor. Like, and my father always told me, he said, son, if somebody owns 1% of you, they own all of you.
Yeah.
We built everything from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really mad that some of these other companies were, you know, just kind of coming in and stealing everybody's stuff. And like, not naming any names, I think there's plenty of evidence of the companies I was mad at back in the day.
Yeah.
So Chairman Platinum kind of embodied that. And we would film these stupid videos, and I knew I was still learning, you know, like I had so much stuff we've never released because, you know, just learning. You got to do something a lot. You know, Gold Raven got really good because he did it a lot. I'm going to tell you guys something terrible. I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud. Please don't use this against me. So, you know, we got entrenched in all the film stuff going on in Tampa. We got, you know, the Film Association here, like, it was the best, right? Like all these famous people would like come over to my house, and like we'd have these weird dinners and have people dress up as ninjas and pull these like weird pranks, because that's what happens if you come over to my house.
When I think you and God, who was the other person at the time, were talking about Dragon Fable potential, like anime or something like that, or animated series. What happened to that?
Actually, we want you to fund it, but then you can have 2 seasons worth of airtime. And they basically wanted us to use Gotham Studios to do it. And I was like, oh, well, okay, well, how much does it cost to make one of these? And he says, $500,000. And I'm like...
Per season or per episode?
And I'm like, you know, that doesn't sound completely undoable. And I said, then he goes... per episode, and then my jaw just dropped to the table. And
Per episode?
And I go back to the producer guy, and he's like, Adam, don't worry about this. You sell the rights to these different stuff, and then you get your money back. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I got to tell you, I know that I've made a ton of mistakes over the past 20 years, and anybody who does anything is going to.
Mm-hmm.
I think the single biggest mistake I actually made was deciding not to do that. This is a signed, like literally all I had to do was put the ink on the page. A deal for $84 million. That was my life high score. And I would have gotten immediately $20 million in cash, and the rest is part of an earnout over 3 to 5 years. And anybody can say that I'm greedy or I'm in it for the money, but the fact that I chose not to take that deal, that I turned it down, you know, as you know, put yourself in that situation, right?
I'm happy you said no, because if you did say yes, we won't have Adventure Quest 3D. We won't have where you're at now.
Pick their own personal pronoun in game. I think that would get wild.
Please.
Awesome.
I mean, I guess so, yeah. I feel like I don't think, you know, there's definitely nothing wrong with it.
Oh no.
I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think of what reason you really need to. I don't think anyone ever refers to you by pronoun-wise in game at least.
Add it in front of
So basically what you're saying is you want people to farm items really hard and be hustling because you're just translating your own hustling into the game. People can relate.
Well, I prefer that there were lots of stuff to do.
Yeah.
I think that for a while now, this game has been, or the team has been focusing too much on expansion, and it should focus for a bit on patching bugs.
Fine then. Yeah.
That I do know the answer. We're actively working on that in two ways. One, starting with that falling to the floor weirdism, which
Yes, the falling for the floor. I remember that. I remember one time when Dage was doing something. He actually falls for the floor during an event.
This
He
is
did.
not funny. This is not cool. I'm not having a fun time. You cannot keep making me fall through the fucking map every time I finally get to the fucking chest. You cannot do that. That's not fucking fair. It's not funny. This is not a joke. We're not having a good time. Stop laughing at me. Don't laugh at all.
Maybe you should do like a grand poll on how to like go forward the game and ask the community itself. Because if no one can really decide or not sure what they want, then it would be a good idea to ask everyone.
we do. We like. In fact, you'll see that again in the next week. We'll put out a survey.
Got him. Player housing.